Welcome to Educación sin Fronteras, el Salto Intercultural. We are exploring how the physical and cultural spaces where we learn determine who is invited to participate in the future. For over a century, the global education system operated as a tool for homogenization. It was designed to take diverse populations and mold them into a standardized workforce, emphasizing uniformity over individual identity. This 19th century classroom reveals the roots of that model. The rigid rows and the lack of individual expression weren't accidental. They mirrored the factory floor, where efficiency depended on everyone doing exactly the same thing at the same time. In modern Mexico, this legacy creates a sharp tension. The nation possesses immense cultural wealth, yet the standard university structure often fails to recognize the languages and traditions of its indigenous communities. This grid represents 100 typical university students in Mexico. While the country is a tapestry of different cultures, notice that only 3 figures are highlighted. Those 3 represent the small percentage of higher education students who come from indigenous backgrounds. When the space of learning demands that a student leave their culture at the door, it acts as a filter. To achieve true inclusion, the solution requires a redesign of the learning environment itself. Mexico addressed this barrier by establishing 12 intercultural universities. These institutions aren't just new buildings. They represent a fundamental policy shift that places the campus directly inside the territories where indigenous communities live and work. By physically moving the center of learning into the mountains and jungles, the system removes the geographic and economic obstacles that previously made a degree impossible for these students to reach. Learning here looks different. Students spend as much time in the community as they do in the classroom. This design ensures that local, traditional knowledge is treated with the same academic rigor as modern science. These universities also discard the centralized, one-size-fits-all curriculum. They recognize that a student in the Yucatan has different economic and linguistic needs than a student in the mountains of Guerrero. The study plans are built through a dialogue with local families. This ensures the education is relevant to the regional economy and supports the survival of local languages rather than replacing them with a single national standard. When education is embedded directly into the landscape, it stops being a distant academic exercise. It becomes a practical tool for solving real-world problems right where the students live. The success of these Mexican universities aligns with a broader global dialogue. In 2019, UNESCO commissioned a report on the futures of education, which argued that the industrial model of schooling is increasingly out of step with our interconnected world. This timeline shows the shift the UNESCO Commission calls for. The old assembly line model dissolves into a decentralized network where knowledge flows between people. We are moving past the 4 walls. A park or tablet becomes a space for lifelong learning and global collaboration. The architecture of knowledge has decentralized. We now navigate it as a lifelong process that adapts to our changing lives. In a world where we can access infinite data on a smartphone, the goal of an education is shifting. Simply memorizing facts has become less important than knowing how to interact with a diverse global community. The future curriculum focuses on what researchers call aprender a ser, learning to be your true self, and aprender a vivir juntos, learning to live together with others who are different. Cross-cultural empathy and human interaction are the threads holding this global network together. These aren't soft skills. They are essential tools for a democratic society. Because at its heart, education is a social experience. It requires all of us to learn together. To truly support human development, the system must finally leave the factory floor. It must become a living, borderless network that respects the cultures it serves while preparing them for a shared future.